I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
This is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. And this is a review for DC. It's a PayPal request. If anyone's ever interested in requesting any other type of reviews or re-reviews, topics, reactions, reviews of movies, other stuff, pretty much any type of video, you can send a request either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And for today, DC wanted to be... Playroom from 1990. This is a movie where there's a scene where an animatronic mummy kinda picks his nose and eats his booger. And for the most part, this is supposed to be a very serious film. And when I say mummy, you remember Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade? When the one man chose poorly, and when he drank the shit, and when he was disintegrating, it got to that one part where he had like white hair, and some of it bald and decrepit before he turned a skeleton. Imagine that was a dummy, and would walk around chasing a girl, and then picks his nose on point. And saying lines like, "I love this shit." I can see why this has like a 4.79 to be. If DC, if you liked it, that's cool. No disrespect is meant. This just wasn't for me. And sadly, what I described is like the most... If the rest of the movie was that balls out, not even balls out, it just, if silly, stupid, dumb, maybe I could enjoy this on a fun, bad level. But a lot of it is fairly dull. It's like just trying to be a little bit like The Shining. I'll get to that in a minute. Well, probably way I talk 10 minutes later. I looked at the people involved with this. The director, Manny Coto. This is a guy who did Dr. Giggles. I like Dr. Giggles. But of course he also did Cover Up with Dolph Lundgren. A film so fucking bad. One of my best friends saw the movie. It was so fucking bad he did not want to watch any more Dolph Lundgren films. Mike, OCB Communications. If you ask him, he will tell you he saw Cover Up back in the day. It was so bad, he's like, wow, this is bad? I don't want to see more of this guy Dolph's movies. But then ultimately he did. It's like, oh, this guy did a lot of good movies. But that's how fucking bad Cover Up is. So he did do that as well. Sadly, this film is still better than Cover Up, but it's nowhere near as good as Dr. Giggles. One of the writers is Jackie Earle Haley. And I'm like, is that the same Jackie Earle Haley? Like the same from the original Bad News Bears? The same from Watchmen? That was the new Freddy Krueger in the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street piece of shit remake. That Jackie Earle Haley's one of the writers? And the star is Christopher McDonald, Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore. And you'll pay. Listen to what I say. How about go lay by the bay, eat some hay? I just may, what do you say? But I like Christopher McDonald. That's not often that he gets to be a lead. The story of the film, before I go on, is this kid is looking around this archaeological dig, finds his family dead, wakes up, it's the kid grown up, and it's Christopher McDonald, who has, of course, nightmares about that incident. He's obsessed with going back to his father's archaeological dig to figure out the mysteries of what happened, but also to find this thing that's supposed to be this playroom, because this area was the habitat of this prince who was like, what, 10, 12, 13 years old? A kid prince, but a kid who also would torture people. It's something about he made a deal with a demon to live forever, but he can't leave. Where the fuck it's about. The reason I mention The Shining is that, in a way, Christopher McDonald's character, like Jack Nicholson, he's a guy who is losing it. I guess you could say disaffected by the evil, and instead of trying to kill people with an axe in The Shining, in this he's got a pickaxe. And then this area and the ghost, whatever you want to say of this kid, it kind of possesses him, or at least turns him crazy. How the hell you want to interpret it? With I was going to say with Shooter McGavin, with Christopher McDonald, you have his girlfriend who's a magazine editor, this photographer who was a bit of a drunk, and the photographer's girlfriend who's a stuck-up model who will say stuff like, is he done? Is he going to do that pickaxe the whole day? I'm going to meditate. How about you meditate? I'm a nuts. Just annoying character. And that is one issue. It's hard to like any of the characters, because Christopher McDonald, an actor, there's an idea to like the character because to feel sorry for his predicament in the past, but we never see him as a decent guy. Right from the get-go, he's haunted and he's stressed out. Even The Shining, even though it's only a little bit, even The Shining, you at least had Jack Nicholson taking the meeting and, kind of smiling with the other people in order to get the job, and then the drive up there and talk with them in the car. Even though he's still Jack Nicholson, even being nice, he seems intense. Too intense. But still, even that had more than this. So it was kind of hard to care about Christopher McDonald, like to feel sorry for him. Like maybe if there were some scenes of a build-up of him having fun, or like just being a guy, a decent guy, loving this girl, and whatever hobbies they have, like some type of little bit of build-up before the shit hits the fan. And then almost as soon as they get there, boom, he's obsessed with breaking this wall with a pickaxe. Back in the day, he had this imaginary friend named Daniel, and now he starts seeing his imaginary friend again, this kid. Now, of course, and your brain goes, well, wait a minute. They're saying, you told me the mythology was this was about a kid prince. Our main character is looking at a little kid, this imaginary friend. You put two and two together, that the two are the same thing. Meanwhile, and what I mean by Christopher McDonald, as soon as he gets there, he goes crazy. He's like sweating, and I like Christopher McDonald. He can work crazy well. You know, there's the fun asshole like Happy Gilmore. There's other movies where he's a bit more serious. He can do that. And honestly, part of me wishes this did not deal with the supernatural. It could easily have been just Christopher McDonald going crazy. Maybe he's like the stepfather, or he's one of those guys who just had one bad day and he's losing it, and just starts killing people with a pickaxe and his crazy performance. You didn't really need the whole supernatural aspect, because at times that made it a bit more laughable, which I mentioned at the beginning, with the goddamn amateur, the almost death throes of the guy from Indiana Jones Last Crusade, white hair shit, picking booters and eating it. Meanwhile, earlier you got Shooter McGavin being intense, and you know how evil children could be. You know how children sometimes they'll rip wings off a fly, or twist heads off of grasshoppers. And I went, what? Wait, time out. Whoa. Hold my beer. I don't drink. Hold my fucking water. Hold my dick. Hold it off. Hold the presses. Hold the horses. Hold the shithead underwater till they don't move anymore. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Twist heads off grasshoppers? I've never heard or seen, and I don't think I want to, about kids twisting heads off of grasshoppers. So I guess to Jackie or Haley, whoever wrote the line, was a thing. I just had never heard that before. Thankfully. Always getting more irritable and pissed off at people, obsessed with trying to find this playroom, as he also starts seeing his imaginary friend again. There'll be some random scenes like the photographer and his model girlfriend fucking on a chair, and I don't know if I heard it right. I swear the girl said, "Watch my boobs," as they're humping each other in a chair. I'm like, just, the chair's uncomfortable. Get on the fucking ground, or get a fucking cushion. Or, just being on a chair just seems you get splinters on your ass or somewhere else. You need splinters on the taint. Not that I know from experience, but I could just, make a hypothesis. You don't want to fucking splinter there. But some Christopher McDonald acting moments was fun, because he could do intense very well. The second, Vincent Schiavelli. This is a character actor. You may remember him the most from Ghost with Patrick Swayze. He was the ghost that Patrick Swayze finds in the subway, who teaches Swayze how to physically interact with the world and move things. That's Vincent Schiavelli. He's been in a lot of stuff. I wish more of the movie was about him. In fact, I wish he was the lead character, or I wish he had more to do, or he was the driving force. Because he plays a guy that was in an asylum for those deaths 20-some years ago of Christopher McDonald's parents and such. He'd say, "It wasn't me, I'm innocent." He breaks out, and then pretty much he breaks out, and for most of the film he's in a car, someone's driving him up. And we have all this stuff going on. Once in a while it cuts back to visit Schiavelli till he gets there in the third act and does 3 or so things. So I wish a lot more was with him, because Vincent Schiavelli showed a bit of personality, and some of the ways he shot some lines of dialogue, he had some energy to it, and I think that would have been even more effective if there was more of him, like him and Christopher McDonald butting heads with each other. Instead, it's rather dull. Not a whole lot happens. Like I said, McDonald, Shooter McGavin is losing it. Whole lot of nothing happens. He breaks into the room. There's nothing there. The other three go, oh, I'm sorry, there's nothing here. And Shooter McGavin says, get the fuck out. He starts seeing the kid. I guess the evil force, whatever, possesses Shooter McGavin. And then he starts acting like a kid. Like he has the shirt or hoodie pulled up like this. Like all the way up to here. Looks like fucking Elliot from goddamn E.T. with the way he looks. And he takes the... Well, I'm getting more into spoilers starting now. The photographer's girlfriend seduces her into this playroom, which now there's a bunch of shit there. Ties her to this place where it's a trap, and this saw comes in, kills the girl, saws her kind of in half, but you don't see anything. It's a cutaway. The only reason I know it sawed her someone in half is because her hubby, the photographer, finds her body. It's one of those where the girl's like this, and then you see her laid like right here next to her. This is not a gory film at all. That's another disappointment. Because that could have helped. Might not have saved the film, but it could have fucking helped. So with that guy, he keeps bashing the guy with the skull, and the photographer doesn't do anything. Like, okay, I understand he keeps getting hit, but he gets hit like 3 times, and the photographer's like, hey man, it's me. Even if it was my best friends, Michael Keane, if you're hitting me in the head, by the 3rd time, I'm going to kick you in the nuts. I'm sorry. I'm sure you would do the same thing if things were reversed. If I'm hitting you in the skull with a skull, and by the 3rd time, you have permission to kick me in the nuts. Not go, it's me, man. It's me. But he walks back, is hanging off this like cliff. And then Christopher McDonald, I guess because it's the ghost prince of a kid, so now he's acting like a kid. He's like, ooh, birthday. Puts candles on the guy's fingers as he's hanging on, lights him. So the guy falls into this fucking Mortal Kombat pit with spikes. But again, you don't see any door. It's literally, imagine the guy like, ah, and you see his face, but you see nothing. So they cheaped out on that with the door. There's none of it. So it's Christopher McDonald chasing his girlfriend with a pickaxe. And when Shooter McGavin sees the kid Prince, he sees a kid. His imaginary friend Daniel. When the girl sees it, he sees it for its true form, which is that fucking... I'm probably going to have the picture over here. That's what the fuck it looks like. It looks like the illegitimate... You know what? It looks almost like the illegitimate son of that old lady in Pumpkinhead. Or at least related to her. You know, almost same head or something. And I mean, I'll give it credit. I mean, it's not CGI, but this was 1989, so it would not have been CGI in the first place. So I get some charm, even though it's moving stiffly and it can't really do anything. You know, it's okay, cool, practical effect, but... And then it starts wanting to curse like it's in a fucking... Well, I can't say Rob Zombie movie, because no one said, oh, fuck you in the fuck, you fuck. But just saying lines like, you bitch, and you know, I love this shit. And I'm like, most of the film has been this, trying to be serious, and now it's just, it's like someone else is directing. With the way this person talks, try to be like a more foul-mouthed Freddy Krueger. And Freddy Krueger curses, but this guy tries to go for more. Tries to be... It's almost like... try and do their imitation of Chucky. With the dialogue, I would not be surprised if that was one of the influences. And just, I don't know why. Why do you have a scene where that seems like a comedy? Picking your booger, eating it. It's laughable. It's laughable. So she gets the fuck out of Dodge. There's Christopher McDonald. He was knocked out. He's back again. She knocks him down this fucking pit, so he should be dead. But of course she's not. Of course he's not. Somehow he's alive. Hits Vincent Schiavelli. Goes after the girl who's trapped in her car. Fucks up the car. And then Vincent Schiavelli, super spoilers, this is the end, goes, "You know, I always wondered, can you sever someone's head with 3 shots? And he shoots the gun, and then he shoots 2 more, and it's an interesting way of doing a decapitation, because he does it by a gun, by shooting. So he shoots 5 bullets into Christopher McDonald's neck, the one, like, really gory part of the movie, and the head falls off. And then Vincent Schiavelli goes, 5 shots. I must be slipping." And then he dies of his wounds. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, even that line, I don't mind. Considering the rest of the stuff. Like, Vincent Schiavelli, why wasn't he a bigger part of the film? Why did he have to die in the film? Why couldn't he be the lead of the film? Or more of a driving force? But this archaeological dig site, really not much happened. It was dull and boring. Christopher McDonald, him being crazy, should have just been about him being crazy as a killer with a pickaxe. This whole Playroom thing where he's affected, so he starts acting like a kid, and then the fucking mummified corpse, white hair motherfucker eating his boogers. I don't really get what it was trying to go for. I don't really get its intention. For most of it, it seems like he wants to be serious, but then, you know, that fucking thing. Yeah. This obviously wasn't for me, Playroom. And it's one of those films that I remember seeing the cover back in the day of the VHS days, when you had video stores. It was this weird cover because it's Christopher McDonald on one head, and the other side is like, what the fuck is the other half? Even that, I mean, the way that cover makes it seem as if it would be like a Jekyll and Hyde thing, or it would be Chris McDonald and the corpse, the same body, and it's not. That's not the case though. But, fuck it. If you like the film, that's cool. I don't think this film has a DVD or Blu-ray, which I'm not surprised. But it was for free on YouTube. If the version I saw at least had trailers at the beginning and end for films like No Retreat, No Surrender 2 and When Harry Met Sally and other stuff. So that was more entertaining than the movie with the fucking trailers. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. I don't know what else to say. I don't think the story works. It doesn't know. You can't try to be this super serious movie where a guy, he has his trauma from the past, but then have mummies eating their boogers and shit. You waste people like Vincent Schiavelli's characters when it's actually an interesting personality. He has lines like, someone asks him, "Do you smoke?" "No, it causes strokes." Well, I mean, just the way he would shoot out these lines of dialogue, that energy, and that was missing to allow the film. And then the rest of the characters, like the lady, indifferent, the the girlfriend, Chris McDonald. It's hard for me to care about the character because the movie's like, you need to care about him because what happened to him as a kid. Okay, I get your idea, but you know, could you have like, I don't know, 10 minutes of him being a normal guy before he goes crazy? But I love someone that, if anyone out there meets Jackie Earle Haley, ask him about this movie that he wrote, or he was one of the writers. Ask him about this movie, please. I love to hear his thoughts on this. But, and then the lack of gore, it's at the very, very end. When some of the other people get killed, gore would have helped. And even then, the animatronic, just not the best. And it's like, just a bit goofy, a bit laughable. So, and then Chris McDonald, some of his crazy to be fun. He hits someone's like, finders keepers, losers weepers. Which I say that out loud, that does seem pretty laughable too. So that's what I mean. It's like, what movie are you trying to do, man? So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.